Is Donald Trump in political trouble? Let's talk about that next here on Prepper Nation. Welcome to Prepper Nation. I am John. Thank you very much for watching, listening, hitting the thumbs up, subscribing, all of that YouTubey stuff. So let's get right into it. Is Trump in political trouble? Yes, I know he is in a lot of legal trouble, but politically speaking, the man's a front runner. Uh, Look, I watched the debate last night and I got some thoughts on it. And I also went back and I watched because it was pre-recorded anyway, the interview Trump did with Tucker Carlson. And we're going to talk about that this morning, but far and away, I don't think Trump is in political trouble. He is the front runner in concrete to me at this point. He's the clear, far and away front runner. I don't think the debates did anything to pull people away from Donald Trump. And I actually feel like the interview may have pulled some people back in that were kind of on the fence about it. Because honestly, since the last election cycle, Donald Trump has lost some support among people that voted for him last time around. Maybe this is because they're tired of hearing about election fraud. Maybe this is because they found a new candidate, whatever the case may be. But again, he's certainly in legal trouble, and that's going to play out how that's going to play out. But even if this man is sitting in a jail cell somewhere, legally, he can run for president of the United States of America. This question came up last night at the debates, actually. They asked all of the candidates, you know, even if he is found guilty or whatever the case may be, do you still support him as the GOP nominee if he's polling the highest when this thing comes to a head? A lot of them were slow to raise their hand. They were looking around, but Vivek, I think is how you pronounce his name. His arm shot straight up. He's going to support Trump no matter what. So, um, my takeaway from this for the GOP is the following: at this stage in the game, Trump is your guy. Like him or not, whether you're a rhino, whether you're a GOP party leader, Mitch McConnell, son, I'm looking at you. He's your guy. You're not getting out of Donald Trump running again as the candidate. Again, they can throw as many indictments as they want to on the man. He does not seem rattled. Watching his interview with Tucker, he seems pretty confident. And he even mentioned the fact he's confident. Tucker asked him, why don't you seem upset about all these indictments? And he said, because look at the polling numbers. The American people understand what's going on here. They understand that it's a political hit job. Trump is your guy. So if I'm the GOP at this point, it's time it's time to hitch the wagon. Start supporting this man instead of spending insane amounts of money and putting out memos, having the other swamp creatures that are on the stage go after Trump and all of this stuff. It's time to take the medicine, so to speak. Nobody else on that stage is going to be able to beat Biden and Harris. Straight up. Trump is the guy, if anybody is going to be able to beat him. And I understand some people look at elections and they think it's all fraud anyway. And, we're going to get into that. But if you're looking at this whole process as though it's fair and you're looking at it objectively without bias, Trump is the guy. He has always been the guy. He's been the guy since he beat Hillary Clinton. I mean, he's not going anywhere. So if I'm the GOP, my number one concern would not be to go after Trump, discredit Trump, find another candidate. It's too late for that. It's too late. My number one concern is election fraud. How do we prevent this from happening again? All right. And again, some of you may think that it's unpreventable. I don't know. To each their own. But all this money that's being spent on Trump, I think it would be better used to ensure that there is a fair election, that there's an honest election this time around. even if this means to reallocate that money, stop the hit pieces on Trump, put it here, get some extra people in watching the polls and things like this. Because for me, this is about getting Biden and Harris out of office. We've only had 3 years with these 2, and 3 years seems like 30 years, as a US citizen here. I would be more concerned about giving Trump a great vice president at this point because, again, he's up there in age. You don't know if he's gonna make it a second term. You don't know what's gonna happen with him politically. This is about saddling Trump with somebody who is like-minded, that should that individual have to step in to the office of President of the United States, they can hit the ground running for me. I saddled Trump with a good vice president, a rock solid one, and then I cut him loose. And I let Trump do what Trump does. Again, he did an excellent job. He wasn't pulling punches on the interview last night. He was talking about Epstein. He was talking about Hillary Clinton. He was talking about the election fraud, many of the same talking points, but he was doing it in a very presidential way. All right. Which I get it, some people aren't in love with Trump, and you can make the argument anybody is gonna look presidential up against Joe Biden. I got some books coming later today, son, in the mail. UPS is supposed to bring them. I gotta check the tracking number shortly. Whoever brings my books is gonna look more presidential than Joe Biden. But the thing is, the facts do not lie. When you take a look at the economy, you take a look at everything, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's body of work thus far, you have to be gaslit to the point where you are blind to understand that these 2 are bad for our country. All right? They are not taking care of the US people on either side of the aisle. We've talked extensively here about the cost of living, how that's went up. We've talked about the endless wars that we seem to, just be continuing that process of getting into another endless war. We've had a brief visit, I think it was from Kamala Harris, 20 miles away from the border. She stuck around for 30 minutes and flew back out. These people don't care about the southern border. They don't seem to care about the United States. Anything that's happening within the United States, they don't really care about it. They're not doing anything to help the American people. And I think certainly conservatives know this. I think a lot of people in the middle, your independents, and I can speak to the Libertarian Party. We know. We know they're no good. I think a lot of independents maybe that didn't even vote for Trump last time understand they made a mistake and they got buyer's remorse with Joe Biden. So let's take a look. If you're trying to identify a vice president to put with Trump, because again, I didn't see a standout US president during the debates last night, okay? I'm looking at the field, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts on each one of them. All right? DeSantis. I think other than Donald Trump, DeSantis is still the next best choice. He is an elitist. He does have that baggage. He is getting some, lobbying money and stuff like this, but seems to me that when push comes to shove, at least in Florida, DeSantis does what he says he's going to do, and he's very presidential again versus Joe Biden. I think that this is somebody in a debate versus Joe Biden that would eat Biden alive. Trump would do the same thing. I mean, it's like it would almost be bullying at some point, when they're talking about the issues. DeSantis has experience, and again, he is presidential. So for me, he's the second pick. He's the standout on that stage. Followed closely, and I'm going to try and pronounce his name correctly here, Ramaswamy. He says the right things. He is silver tongued. He's a slick talker. He's very intelligent. He seems to have a plan to fix the United States of America. And to his credit, he really wasn't mudslinging. He wasn't going after other candidates on the stage. He did spend a lot of time trying to defend himself from the mudslinging, but I don't know that he has enough experience just yet to be president of the United States. Now, you can argue, hey, we need somebody that doesn't have a ton of political experience because then you're not a swamp creature. He even made the point last night. He was talking to Nikki Haley, and boy, she got pissed about this. He said, "Since I'm the only one up here that's not being told what to say by people that are giving me money, I'm going to speak to this." And she went off on him. He was talking about her, I think, specifically. Um, I think maybe he would be a good vice president. I think DeSantis or Ramaswamy would be good choices for vice presidency. Um, Best case scenario, Trump runs, one of these two is vice president. Trump finishes his 4 years, and then one of these two, they're reelected because they're able to start to fix the country, and we get 12 years of conservative leadership. Mike Pence, too much baggage here. Mike Pence, he told a nasty lie on the debate stage last night. He said he did not have the power at that time to do what President Trump was asking him to do, when in fact he did. Trump spoke to this last night during his own interview with Tucker Carlson. He did have the power to do it because after the election was over, or this election, whatever you happen to believe, they went in and they changed the rules and they stripped the office of vice president of said power. So at that time he did. He plays himself as constitutionalist down the line. But I mean, let's call a spade here. He's part of the swamp. He is. Mike Pence is part of the swamp, in my opinion. Um, and Trump doesn't like him. Trump does not want this guy. Mike Pence has no chance of being elected as president of the United States. He's not going to defeat Joe Biden. Not enough conservatives like the guy, not enough independents like the guy, not enough liberals like the guy. If he can't be chosen as vice president at this point because Trump again just doesn't like him. Nikki Haley, she's in bed with the WEF. In case you didn't know, the Weef, as we call him here at Prepper Nation. And she just kept going on and on and on last night about all of this experience that she has, foreign policy and stuff. And that's her problem. She's been in politics too long. She does have a lot of experience. So does Nancy Pelosi. It doesn't make them qualified for the jobs that they have. You understand what I'm saying? She's been there for a very long time and nothing has changed for the better. Plus, she's made the comment before when asked about Ukraine, we need to continue to support them. Just continue to send them money. And that again is the weef talking, in my opinion. And she plays a lot of identity politics. She's quick to point out time and again, I'm a woman, we need a woman president. Me personally, I'm ready to vote for a woman. I think we do need a woman uh, as president of the United States, but I'm going to vote for this woman because she's qualified, not because she's a woman. You understand? This is why it didn't make sense with Hillary Clinton. She was a bad fit for president of the United States. And her whole campaign, what was it? I'm with her. She played identity politics. Nikki Haley is the same creature. Scott, I like the guy. I like the guy. I think he's intelligent. I think he has good things to say. I think he would have a plan. He may be a decent vice president. I don't think he stood out enough during the debate to make a case for president of the United States. Plus, I mean, he's polling way too low. He's not a front runner in the GOP primaries. He just, for whatever reason, he just doesn't stand out. He's too nice, I guess. Christie, wow, Christie, his body of work, because he's a former governor, his body of work as a governor isn't good. He didn't do a lot of good things as a conservative governor. He will tell you he did, but I can remember when he was governor, and I can remember conservatives complaining about him being their governor. He did a lot of desperate mudslinging last night. He was the one that was constantly belittling other candidates, especially, Ramaswamy. He said that Ramaswamy sounded like Chat GPT, you know? But I'm looking at that and I'm like, well, he sounds presidential and he's smart. He should not have to apologize because he's a smarter man than you are. Again, he doesn't have the experience Christie has, but Christie's experience is not good. It's not good for the American people, and it's just more of the same. You know, electing this guy uh, would just mean that the swamp is still in control. I'm not a Christie fan. Hutchinson, um, I feel like I know less about this candidate now than before the primaries. You know, he didn't stand out. He didn't have a lot to say. He's a very generic candidate. He has no chance at becoming the GOP nominee. I mean, there's no way that you're going to stack this guy up against DeSantis or Trump. I mean, he's just going to get destroyed. There's a reason he's so far down in the polls. I don't even look for him to be there for the second debate because I don't think he has the numbers, the polling numbers to support it. Same with Burgum. He did absolutely nothing to stand out. Most people that watched the debate probably don't even remember this guy's last name. I have no idea why he was there. He was like a background character the entire time. And, you know, he has no chance of winning. So when I go down through that list, DeSantis is not going to, I don't think he's going to be the nominee because I don't think he'll ever be more popular than Trump. If Trump is sitting in prison come election time, he's still going to be polling higher than DeSantis or Ramaswamy. But I do think those two would be good picks for vice president. And I just want to see the GOP stop the nonsense and the theatrics. We all know what's going on here, son. We all know that the other side of the aisle and the deep state that they're going to try and steal it. We all know this, right? Concentrate on that. Concentrate on not being thieved from this time around. That's what I want to see from these candidates. I want to see them, you know, the stronger candidates get behind Trump, say this is our guy moving forward. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, isn't it? That we're sitting here and the GOP field is not a strong field because again, I think that there may be 2, maybe 3 candidates on that stage, grand total, that could that could even stand up to Joe Biden, and Joe Biden can't even put sentences together. Joe Biden can't even walk unassisted half the time. He's been a terrible president. Literally, all you have to do is be intelligent, be able to speak, and point to the mess that Joe and Kamala Harris have created. And most of the candidates that were on the stage last night, they can't even do that. So I don't know. These are my thoughts. Again, I braved it. I watched both of them. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Until next time, y'all take care. God bless.